So, guys, it is your boy Mike, and we got Damian Lillard. He is no, that didn't happen. That didn't happen. We didn't get Damian Lillard. Not at all. Not even close. Well, not that it's not close. I can't say it's not close. The rumors are there. I unfortunately have to talk about it. I said in my last pod I did not want to talk about Mr. Damian Lillard, but it just seems like it's the flavor of the month, it's the flavor of the week, flavor of the day, flavor of the hour. So we gotta talk some Dame. So let's talk some Dame. But when I talk some Dame, what I really made this podcast, what I want to do this podcast is to talk about what I talked about last week. And there's just this whole Raptors team, what I would like to see from them. I talked about the first five guys, and I'm gonna talk about the rest of the team. Now, in saying this and talking about these guys, I know there shouldn't be huge expectations for the Precious Achuas, the Dennis Schroeders, the Grady Dicks. There shouldn't be a lot of pressure on them as much as is for the other five guys that I mentioned last week. Make sure you tune into that video as well. But also, I made a comment probably a couple pods ago. I sent it to a couple, Raptors sports writers and podcasts with some that I've, done podcasts with as well. I got their feedback. And then I heard a podcast where, one of them brought up my theory. And I'm going to run with it. I'm truly running with this theory. And that'll be the last thing I'm going to mention. But let's just dive into it. Let's talk about the Dame news. I feel like throughout this pod, I'm going to have to keep looking at my phone because you'll never know when you'll get a Woj bomb. And there's so much reports all the time about honestly everything that you're really just hoping nothing crazy happens. So recently, some of the Dame news is that he's gonna make it ugly. You know, that's what they're saying. If he were to come to Toronto, he would make it ugly. Then the Toronto side of things, they don't want to add Scotty Barnes. And I'm not too sure if Portland will want Pascal unless you're going to flip him again. And I think if you bring Dame, you got to have a Pascal. So I'm pretty sure the deal would have to center around OG, probably Gary, because you have to let the money work, and then probably Thad and like two or three picks. I'm really putting two picks. You can't put all your picks for Dame, especially if he wants to leave. But yeah, so that's what I'm thinking the package is going to be. I'm thinking that they want more, but if I'm Portland, I'm thinking I bring OG because I can flip OG for like three more draft picks after February. So I'm okay if I have an OG. So that's what I would do if I was them. You trade the Dame, you get an OG, so you flip an OG later. That's what I would do if you can't keep a Scotty Barnes or anything like that. That's what you try to do for Portland, in my opinion. Well, this would thus make Toronto a lot better. You have Dame, you have Pascal, who averaged about 25 points last season with like a 7 and 6. He's 25, 7 and 6 last year. And all I was saying for Pascal and what I wanted was in 25, 7 and 7, but I wanted an aggressive 25. All points aren't equal, and I wanted that aggressive 25, 7 and 7 from a Pascal. But Dame, saying he's gonna make it ugly because he doesn't want to join. There's rumors that because him and DeMar are best friends. It's funny. Like obviously you don't know these people personally. You don't know them personally. You don't know who they're friends with, who they're not friends with. The Dame and DeMar, they're both from Cali at the end of the day. One's from Oakland, one's from Compton. Probably been through the same life experiences. I've never seen a picture of them together. Like at least you can kind of figure like, oh, I can see how this person's close to this guy, or I can see this and that. I've never seen those two close together. Honestly, I've never seen Dame really around anybody except his own teammates. So I didn't know. I didn't know. And I was thinking, obviously, you don't know these people. It could be incredibly true that DeMar and Dame are best friends. But I even think like DeMar and another like if things aligned well, I could see DeMar coming back to the Raptors too. And I can see the Raptors wanting a DeMar coming back, maybe for like a season, maybe a bench forward, so something like that. I can see something like that happening. This is in the future, or maybe not right now because of contracts and things like that. But if the contract was well, why would you not want him back? I can kind of see it like that too. So I don't know. I think that's kind of weird. I never thought that DeMar would be a striking point for Dame because of what we did to DeMar. So Dame doesn't like all that stuff. He's not a big fan of the way Toronto treated DeMar, which if you ask most people, even Toronto Raptor fans, we didn't like it either. You know, yes, Kawhi brought us the title. We would, in our deep in hearts, rather have been DeMar DeRozan. 1,000% we would. 1,000% we would have wanted a DeMar and Kyle like championship ring. It would have meant more with the JV and all those guys who kind of competed against. It would have felt better. But sometimes things just happen. Kawhi is just the one who got you the title. That's just what you're gonna have to deal with. That's what we had to deal with. But I didn't know a Dame making an ugly had to do with that. I also saw this is some random guys talking about it, how they felt the reason why Dame doesn't want to go there is because it's cold and the taxes. First of all, taxes, you can have an accountant, then you'll be fine. And now it being cold. So I guess that would be the same energy he would have with Chicago, Boston, anything in the East. Because the one thing people talk about Canada or more Toronto, some parts of Canada are incredibly cold. There's no doubt you can't go there. It's freezing. It's not livable. Place like Toronto is clearly livable. And when it comes to the wording of how cold it is, it's just as cold in New York. It's just as cold in Chicago. I don't know what makes Toronto cold different. Now I will say, I've talked about it before, and that the All-Star weekend was actually the coldest weekend in Canadian history. It just happened to be also All-Star weekend. If you check the past few Februaries, we're getting sun. We were getting sun. It just happened to be this coldest ever winter we've ever had. And it just happened to be All-Star weekend. So it just was not the greatest time for us. I believe if you even ask Kawhi, he'd be like, that February when he was with the Raptors wasn't that bad. It wasn't that cold. It's still cold though, no matter what. And Dame being from Oakland probably doesn't want to deal with the cold and deal with all that stuff. That's why he's trying to go to an incredibly hot area in Miami, and he really wants to go to Miami. He likes the Miami culture. He wants to play with a Jimmy and Bam. He wants to play with the two guys who literally made it to the NBA Finals the past two out of 3 seasons. So he's trying to play with a team like that. He probably doesn't believe in the Pascal, Scotty Barnes, and whatever else is there after everyone's been traded away from me type of field. So I don't know. I don't know. I am I getting tired of the Dame talk? Yeah, it's getting tiring. Like it's funny. Like training camp starts next week. When training camp starting next week, there's so much like things to chat about, and the Dame situations. He's getting traded this week. He has to because you can't go interviewing Scoot Henderson and be like, "Hey, like, have you talked to Dame? Would you like him back?" And then imagine Dame walks in the building. Hey, Dame, do you still want to leave? Like, it's just awkward. That's why he's probably going to have to leave. The James Harden situation is really weird. I kind of feel like Daryl's probably just waiting for the Dame situation to be done. And then he kind of goes from there. Once again, I don't know what you're going to get James Harden for. I respectfully think James Harden is like probably worth like, I don't know if I'm trading a draft pick. I'm not sure if that's blasphemous or anything. I'm not trading a draft pick for James Harden. Not right now. I'm just not. And I know he's a good player, but I'm good. Just for what he brings, like to a team, I'm not trading a draft pick. And like now, if I'm like the Clippers, I'll trade a draft pick. I wouldn't care. I should say that. But if I'm like the Raptors, I'm not trading a draft pick for James Harden. I'm trading a couple for Dame, but I'm not trading it for James Harden. I'm trading maybe a couple players for James Harden, like 3 players, and 2 of them are going to be fillers with one potential good player. Like I'll trade him for like a Gary Trent, dad for the contract, and if they want a Precious, I'll give them a Precious. That's what I'm probably doing it for, and maybe a second rounder down the line. That's it, but not really a first rounder. No, not for James Harden. For Dame, yeah, I would like some. I would like a lot. I like a lot for Dame. There's no question about it. I would like a lot for Dame. So yeah, so like I don't know what else you can really want for this whole Dame situation. Like, what could you want? Like he could come, he could not come. Let me check Twitter because like I said, I'm gonna keep checking randomly, and I've been checking over the weekend. I checked, which is not like healthy. It's not All Star Weekend. You can't keep checking. You know, either a Woj bomb is gonna happen. You keep getting those random. I forgot where. I think it's called like something dimes, where he just like sends random messages and goes like, expect a trade in an hour. Oh, Dame's going to this. I think he put a message saying that like Aiton's going to the Pacers or something, or Nurkic is going to Phoenix, something like that. And I just think to myself like, I've seen that he's been right a couple times. I think whoever that person is, they are probably someone who works for like the league office, who gets the league. Whatever trade you have to call the league, and then that's how it gets started. So more than likely, it's someone who's messaging someone else. That's what I would do. Message someone else to be like, "This is happening." Boom, tweet it out before Woj and Shams. So yeah, but there's so much reports with the whole Dame situation. I know most Toronto fans are probably tired of it. My other thing is, and I'll leave it at this: if Dame does not want to be a Toronto Raptor, let's not force this man to be a Toronto Raptor. I tweeted out no means no, and like legit mean that. No means no. If Dame doesn't want to be a Toronto Raptor, don't make him a Toronto Raptor. Why are you doing it? He doesn't want to be here. Do not make him a Toronto Raptor. He doesn't want to play for us. He has his reasons why, which is his personal reasons. He doesn't. If he thinks he's gonna make it ugly, which I don't see with his character is gonna make it ugly. So I don't know what make it ugly really looks like in regards to Damian Lillard. But yeah, I don't like that. Like I'm not a big fan. But if you tell me it's Pascal, Dame, and Barnes with a plethora of like multiple other players that are of quality, I think with Dame, they're a top 14 in the East. Playoff time, I still think they can be really good. It's just about kind of who you surround those three guys with. And like I said, you're probably gonna lose OG for sure. It's OG and Gary Trent. It's just about kind of what else the packages are gonna be for it. And but yeah, it would still be a top team, and Stuff Pirtle, who is a great defender. I think if you have Pascal, I don't know how Dame doesn't see, and I get it, he can want Miami, but him not wanting to join Toronto, like Pascal will be the best player you've played with. Like he's better than CJ. So what are we talking about? Two-time All-NBA player. He's definitely done it for another All-NBA season. You know it. That the contract is coming, so he's going for it. So, but yeah, but if Dame doesn't want to be here, like as Raptor fans, we should have self-respect. Move on. Move on. Strongly move on, Raptor fans. Like, it's not something that we should be chasing for if this man does not want to be with us. Like, it's like a relationship. The person doesn't want to be with you, and you're just like crying for their acceptance. No, you don't want to be with me. I don't want to be with you. That's how it is. I don't love you. You don't love me. Bye. Let's move on. Let's move on from the Dame stuff. Let's last week I talked about a few of the Raptor players. I think I named probably the starting five. Gary Trent, Pascal, OG, Pirtle, Scotty. I named what I want from them. What I want. Now the team doesn't change. There's no Damian Lillard trade. This is what I'm looking for everybody else. I'm gonna start off with Dennis Schroeder. He I'm gonna give you a little snippet of what my end topic is. He is my like sixth man on this team. I get that he was the MVP of FIBA. I'm not degrading this person when I say this, but Willie Hernan Gomez was like the MVP. Him and his brother were like MVP champs for the Euro basket last year. And both players are good, but let's they're ninth, 10th man on the team. So I don't believe Dennis is a good player, and he played lights out during that whole tournament. He deserves all the love. I just think for this team, Dennis should come off the bench. And I'll get to my main crazy point that someone think could be blasphemous, but I have a point, I think. So yeah, with Dennis Schroeder, I want to see I just want to see good guard play, of course. I want to see if he can hit the three at a 37, 38% clip. That's what I would I would like to see that. It will be harder because he's giving them like in most cases when he's on the court, the main ball handler. So I want the aggressiveness a little bit of him at FIBA. I want him to be a good leader. I think that's the Raptors need. Something I think with Dennis, he has a strong opinion, and I'm hoping he can help a Scotty, help a Pascal. When Dennis was playing with a LeBron and Anthony Davis, he was a good complementary player. He helped them along the way. He was sometimes their third best player. So you want to see that with Dennis, be sometimes the Raptors' third best player. It doesn't have to be with points. It's more with everything else. So with Dennis Schroeder, I don't really have a stat line. I have more of how I want to see him perform, and it's become the leader that I think he can be. Uh, you know, bring the troops up. Do those things, and the main goal for anything, 36% shooting the three. That'd be excellent. 36% is like probably asking a lot, but that's what I would like to see from Dennis Schroeder. And then of course they'll be aggressive. I still like that FIBA Dennis Schroeder. I still like. I'm not gonna do another guard because it's kind of easier to do a guard. Malachi Flynn. That time is not good when you do a podcast. Malachi Flynn. I just hope he can show us something that some people strongly believe he has. Now, that's incredibly vague. I'm hoping we see a 38% three-point shooter. I'm hoping his pick and rolls. This if he gets minutes, of course. I don't know if he's get minutes. Plays tough defense. I'm hoping he does get minutes because I do want to see more out of Malachi Flynn. I want to see what we have in this guy. So that's the one thing that I know Masai really talked about is that what he didn't see with Nick Nurse, but he saw with Dwayne Casey, is the development. There wasn't guys growing in the pipeline. Now, in saying that, that's also because you won a title, so you traded some of your draft picks. Like that's what happens. But you want to see more guys come from the pipeline who you can one day flip. Let's be honest here, because you flipped the DeLon Wrights, you flipped the Norman Powell's eventually. You flip some of your young players, or you want to see them to grow and develop like an OG, like a Pascal. So I'm hoping Malachi can do that. Jeff Down Jr., probably the same thing. I'm not personally invested too much. I know a lot of people are. I know a lot of people are Jeff Down Jr. stands. I wouldn't say I am. Would not say I am. But I know Jeff Down Jr. is a good player, and we'll have to see. Now, a guy that I'm just going to mention, I know he's probably playing in 905, and he's probably the reason why I think I'm personally going to watch 905 games. Marquise Noel. I believe I'm probably one of those people. I believe in him. I believe in my guy. And when you believe in him, and he wants to be the greatest rapper of all time, and I hope you are. I'm not gonna lie. I hope you get minutes this season. If you do, that means Malachi and Jeff Down Jr. didn't do much with it. I'm hoping in like 2-3 years, like you become something we need. Okay. I like him, like his game in college. I'm a big fan. Big fan. So I'm hoping a lot. Otto Porter, I've said it multiple times. I just want 40 games. And I want those 40 games to be at the end of the season. I don't want beginning season Otto Porter because that's 40 games and it's done. Now I want at least 40 games. If he can just stay healthy, 40 games would be great from him. More the better, of course. More the better. If we can just get 40 games, that would be ideal. That would be ideal. Thad Young, I love Thad Young. I feel like his name gets brought up on trade talks all the time. Like I didn't mention Buddy Hield. That guy is probably gonna get traded. I'm not sure if it's gonna be now. I think the Pacers may wait a little bit because of contract extension and things like that. But Thad Young's name gets brought up because of the pay that he gets. If he's making $1 million, you wouldn't mind. You probably keep him on the squad, but he makes 9, so it's easier to trade, to add with contract and salary. But Thad Young, I love him. I hope that guy just stays being a good vet. I don't believe he'll get a lot of minutes, but when he does, I believe he'll always do what's right for the team. Um, so I am a big Thad Young guy. So like I hope he just him and Otto Porter and then Garrett Temple. Those are the three vets that you're hoping can just help progress a guy like Scotty. I really think those two guys are here for Scotty and Pascal's next step into his development. Jalen McDaniels, not Jaden, Jaden's his brother, but Jalen McDaniels. I want like this is ideal. This is like perfect world, like 38%, 40% shooting the three, especially the corner three. Um, you're hoping you can get that from him. Want him to be a rangy defender. You didn't sign him to not play him, so he's gonna play. And I just want to see the makeup of him. To be honest, I want to see what else we can have from this guy. I do think he'd be fine. He's a very talented player. So, and I think all players are talented. But I mean, like, he's talented defensively. I think this is the time. I think this could be his best opportunity to actually get consistent 15 to 20 minutes a game. And I would like to see what he can do with that. My expectations of him is just being a good rotation player, being someone that's needed, someone who can give us like 6 points a game, 7 points a game, shoot the three well, and honestly just play really good defense. That's what's going to get you on the court, the defensive side of things. Christian Coloco. I listened to a podcast and they talked about like the people who you're really anticipating. And of course, the two guys behind me are the people I'm always gonna want the best for as the two best players on the team now. I want Christian Coloco to really establish himself as a backup big. I want I don't always think it's a bad thing, but I like when we have to potentially question who should start. I kind of like that. I kind of like when the backup is really pushing the starter to be like, if you're not good, I'm coming for your position. I think that's what made the bench mob really good. As much as Fred and Pascal and OG a little bit, but even Norm, they wanted to all start. They wanted to start. They didn't want to come off the bench, so they fought. So I'm hoping Coloco does that as well. I'm hoping Coloco is a defensive menace. He's the person that I just want to be a defensive menace. And then we could be all good. But he should be a defensive menace for sure, for sure. Grady Dick, he's young. So I hope everyone knows I have no expectations. Hopefully he shoots the three well. Even if he doesn't, it'll come. He's a shooter. It'll come. I want to probably see what he can do. I want to see if he can move around without the ball, but really well. Because that's something that you just have to see, and especially in this league. Especially he's already labeled as a shooter, so you kind of want to see what he can do off the ball. Also want to see when he has the ball. His dribble package, his cutting to the lane. I want to see all that. I want to see his ball handling skills. Like I want to see him just like kind of develop himself. If he's with the Raptors in 9 to 5, I want to see just overall have him develop to a person. Now, the last two people I'll mention is a Boucher and Precious. So Boucher, I don't know. He's gonna get minutes, I believe. I feel like he's the one guy that I won't be shocked if he doesn't get minutes because it's just too much. There's too much you want to see, and you got to see Coloco play. You got to see Precious play. I feel like Boucher is gonna have, if the Raptors team kind of stays the same, I can see Boucher having more minutes at the end of the season, more than the beginning of the season, because of especially if you're in like trying to win, Boucher is someone you gotta play. If you're developing, maybe Boucher you don't play. So I don't think Boucher's the weird one. My expectations of Boucher is to be the same guy he's been, be the best bench player we have, or attempt to be with Dennis Schroeder. And all in all, just hit the three at a consistent rate and play good defense. That's all I can ask for. Precious Achiuwa. I feel like I'm gonna reach out to someone who's a big Precious Achiuwa fan to talk about him more because I don't think we talk about him enough. And especially last year, he was incredibly disappointing, and we don't talk about it as Raptor fans. We don't talk about Precious Achiuwa being disappointing, and he was. And so what I want from him is a bounce back season. I want to see if it's he's kind of low key in a contract year, so I want to see if he's worth the contract. So my expectations of him is to be better. The goals I have, my high unrealistic goals, probably being a guy that is not in most improved. He's not going to be a top 10 most improved. I mean, no, he may not be top like 7 most improved, but he'll be talked about being most improved or one of the most improved guys this season. But not probably winning the award because I'll go to a certain type of guy. But you want him to be someone who's like when Zach Lowe does his 15 guys, you want Precious Chua to be mentioned. That's what I want to see from Precious Chua. Someone where like, man, this guy's good. Like he's good. He's the shots there. The defense is a woe. Like that's what I would like to see from him. That's everyone. That's like everyone that I want to see. Let me stop and do my quick Twitter check because once again, you just never know, and it'll be such a live reaction. Um, someone tweeted last time we had an unhappy superstar. This is what happened. It was Kawhi Leonard, and he's holding the title. So it's weird. And I see a lot of Raptor fans are like, "Oh, you think you're gonna be like, you think you're gonna act this way and not want to join the Raptors? Well, come and we'll show you how it's like." Like everyone seems very like, what's up? If you really want to do this, okay, what's up? Let's do this then. Which is hilarious to see because I don't know how that's gonna happen. Okay, the last thing I want to talk about is something I do strongly feel passionate about now. The Raptors starting unit and bench unit. This is what I think. It's how I feel it should be. The Raptors starting unit should be Barnes at the point guard or Pascal, doesn't really matter. Those are your two lead ball handlers as your starters. So yeah, my guarantees are Barnes, Pascal, OG, Pirtle. 4 guaranteed guys. Now, ultimately, the Raptors have like 6 starters, and I feel like they've been having this issue for a while now. But they've had like 6 starters, okay? Because Dennis Schroeder and Gary Trent Jr. Now the question is, which one do you start? A Gary Trent or a Dennis Schroeder? If you're asking me today, as I do this podcast, I am starting neither of them. I want them to come off the bench. I want Gary Trent and Dennis Schroeder to come off the bench. I want a low maintenance person to be starting with those people because I want Scotty to explore everything he needs to explore. I want Pascal to explore what he needs to explore. I never mentioned this guy's name when I was thinking about it. I'm saying it right now. This is live in my brain. And mind you, he doesn't have to play a lot of minutes. But I wouldn't mind if we gave the 15 minutes a game time to Grady Dick. Start Grady Dick. Have that additional shooter. If that doesn't work, which is potentially not working, the guy who I said I want to play 40 games, hopefully he can give us like 60 with some rest days because he's probably going to need some, as an Otto Porter. Low maintenance, not going to want the ball a lot, shoots the 3 well. That's what the starting lineup needs, an additional score. Now, the best option would be Gary Trent because he can score the ball in multiple facets of the game. Dennis Schroeder can do the same thing, also in ball handle. Now, I want that on my bench. The Raptors bench has been pretty much horrid for so long. So I think now could be the time that we can say, let's have a quality bench. Let's put someone who we play the Luis Scola role. Luis Scola was a good vet, but you knew that he probably shouldn't be starting. But he did, so then you can bring Patrick Patterson, I should say, sorry. Patrick Patterson, so he can play like 30 minutes with the Raptors. He should have been a 6th man of the year candidate. He was a plus minus darling. So I think we need to do the same thing. The reason why I'm doing this is to expand the lineup and make everyone have the best chance of doing their job at their best. Scotty and Pascal could do their best job when they're the 2 ball handlers, the 2 lead guys. You have Pirtle who can get it in the pick and roll. You have OG who can get it, who could be that 3rd guy. OG doesn't have to fight with a 4th guy to handle the ball. He can just say, like, I'm actually the 3rd guy, I can play defense, shoot threes, and just be an additional guy to attack the dribble and attack mismatches. And where I think with Otto Porter, if I mention him, I think he can attack mismatches. I wouldn't be mad if Jalen McDaniels was a starter. Once again, he can play 15 minutes a game, probably him 15 to 20 minutes a game. But it's good. You have those 2 guys. And like I'm saying multiple times, this is to help the bench. Because the bench will now have 2 guys who can arguably Well, one, I wouldn't say Gary's an argument, but with Dennis Schroeder, that's not an argument. That guy can Dennis is the argument. Sorry. Gary's not the argument. Gary can score 20 points, but Dennis can give you 16 to 20 points a game. So if you have two guys who have the ability to score at that pace, I think it's better. And also, it's a different pace of game where if you have a Scotty, OG, Pascal starting unit, it's a lot of power. You're pounding the middle. The shooting isn't that great, but the defense, the length, you're playing faster, all that. Where your bench can have better shooters with a Boucher at one corner, and you have Gary at another. Then the shooter, doing a lot of pick and rolls with a Coloco, with multiple guys. If you play a Thad Young, it's another person who can distribute the ball. So I just think the bench could be better with having both those two guys coming off the bench, honestly. Now, whoever starts and ends the games are different. So it's the end of the game that matters. At the end of the day, you're gonna need six of them to end the game. You can go small ball and go Barnes, Pascal, OG, Gary, and Dennis Schroeder. You can go big, you take out Dennis or Gary, and you have Pirtle. Go real strong with length, you have Pressure Chua or a Boucher. So you can do whatever you want, really. But I think the best thing for the starting unit is putting a low maintenance guy with it. Low maintenance guy being an Otto Porter, being a Jalen McDaniels, being a Grady Dick, a person that now Grady Dick's a rookie. So for the other team, offensively, they can attack a Grady Dick. But you can't really attack an Otto Porter. Yes, he's older, and you will attack him. He'll probably be the worst defender out of everyone because he's older, but still a solid defender, a good team defender, and he can shoot the three at a high clip. A nice veteran presence, not going to expect a lot. Then you are exploring and exploiting, I should say, a Pascal, Barnes, OG, front court, so to speak, that's just going to power teams. They're gonna have so much mismatches because the shortest guy is gonna be OG at like 6'6", 6'7". I think it's gonna work. I think it could work. Then OG has the ability to shoot threes at a 38% clip as we've seen. So now if you're Pascal and Scotty, you have OG and Otto Porter at either end with the length, with the size. You can pass them, throw a really high ass pass. You can throw a poor pass if you really want to. Have the ability to shoot the three in the corners. You have length and size for defensively. I just think that could work. And once again, these guys are low maintenance guys. These guys could do a lot of the dirty work. If you started Jalen McDaniels, that's your dirty work guy, right? That's the guy that's going to do all the dirty work for you while you have all these guys doing a bunch of different things. I just think sometimes you want to exploit your bench as much as you can, and you want your bench to be strong. So I would not mind, and I'm hoping I've given a little bit of help to everyone in explaining why I think truly Dennis Schroeder and Gary Trent Jr. should come off the bench. It just should. It's only going to help this team get better. And just imagine you have those guys. It's like a potentially a tie game going into the second quarter, and you have a Gary Trent and a Dennis Schroeder and a Boucher and a Precious Achua just running with these guys. Have ability to shoot, even with the Precious can shoot. Boucher can shoot. Then they're just running, and then I don't know. I just think it could be like an older version of the bench mob where they're just a different speed. And with a Dennis Schroeder being aggressive, with a Gary being aggressive, I think it can help. Even with a Precious Chua being aggressive, it can be really good, especially because all these guys are just aggressive players who want their shot. Where I know Scotty's a little bit more passive. I think Pascal could be a little bit passive sometimes. And OG probably the least passive out of the three, to be honest. But could be passive as well. He's a good passer. And I just think you can make those three guys, Barnes, Pascal, and OG, just much better. I really do. I'm probably going to talk about this way more because I feel really strongly. And if you ask me today, the starting, shooting guard, I should say, should not be Dennis Schroeder or a Gary Trent. And I get what Dennis did in Germany. I get it. I totally get it. Let that come off the bench. They can both still play 30 minutes a game. That's the thing we're not forgetting. They can still play 30 minutes a game because whoever's that starter and Jalen McDaniels, Grady Dick or Otto Porter only playing 15 minutes a game. That's what I think. But make sure you guys comment below. Make sure you guys like and subscribe. Raptor season is upon us. It's media day next week. I'm not invited. Raptors, give me some credentials. Awesome. I'm not sure if they want hard-hitting questions, but I'll ask some questions. Hey, Pascal, do you know why I love you so much? Because I think you're amazing. That's why. Scotty, this is your year. Let's do it. But truly, tell me what you guys think. Comment below, like and subscribe. And I'm going to talk to you again next week. I'll probably bring some, maybe not next week, probably the following week. I have some guests as well. But we'll see. Peace.